And you're certain you still haven't found anything?
Affirmative. Given its current state, it can only be presumed that the signal is currently too weak. However, with time and a boosted range, I can potentially track it. However, I can currently find no trace of where the rest of the ship's remains may have landed. However, you may have more pressing matters in the meantime.
Huh? How do you mean? Oh. Suppose it's not exactly abnormal to get people knocking, but... who would be visiting around this time? Oh.
Mr. 80.
Good evening,
Evening.
Miss Vera, Lazar.
Would it be much trouble if we could come in, talk?
Go ahead. Which reminds me as well, since you two are here. Because I said I would.
Ah!
Oh,
Library card.
Congratulations, those are the first two ever made.
we must be pretty lucky.
Probably won't be the last, but considering
But they are the first.
they are the first.
That's a reason to brag.
I do believe I owe Jaeger one as well. Would you either of you care for something to eat or coffee or anything?
Coffee would be nice.
It's
I'm-
pretty cold.
I'm not certain I know how to make it myself, but
As long as you have something hot to drink. Criminal squirrels would not really have an issue with blackmail, huh?
I don't know how I feel about a squirrel blackmailing me.
Embarrassed, probably?
Yeah, of all of the things that have happened to me, I think getting done in by a squirrel is the least likely one I want to have.
there are worse things to die to.
There are. I can name a couple 50.
I can name one off the top of my head, pufferfish.
Oh.
Those are never fun. They sting.
Don't see much anymore of those. Too cold for pufferfish here.
Sad truth of it.
I
Open up.
was stung by a bee. That was embarrassing.
Yeah, that would suck.
I think I had an allergy at that point.
Can you have allergies now you're dead?
While I'm dead, I don't think I've had issues with allergies, but that was back when I was alive.
Do you think you could still have you tested?
I'm not going to go around sticking my face into beehives to test out if I'm allergic or not to bees.
So,
I mean,
are,
we've got healers. I'm a doctor.
are you a revenant?
I am, yes.
You look remarkably fresh.
It's the cold. It's doing wonders for my skin.
Huh.
We're both revenants.
Well, you both look remarkably well.
I think the ways we diet helps too. They're not exactly the most obvious of wounds.
Yes, mine very easily gets covered up by my coat, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But I think regarding how we died, at least how you died, it makes sense why you're so well preserved. Me, on the other hand, I don't know. I don't know what the person who buried me did for me to look this good, but I'm thankful.
They did a pretty good job at it.
So, what brings the two of you around?
I have a request.
I am, cautiously listening.
When we were here last and seeing all of the things you've made, especially the power plant thing, I'm guessing you've made all of this, correct?
With some help, but yes.
I don't know if you would, but would you be able to make or repair a ship, a spaceship?
That, I'm afraid, is a little bit out of my realm of expertise. You're not the first person not to ask me, but I did come here in a ship as well. Kind of a... When you say repair, that means one that's destroyed, or beyond repair, or in need of it, grossly.
You could say. I'm somewhat knowledgeable on how to repair an exterior of a ship, but as we see it, there's no power for it. I have no way of getting it off of the ground, and I'm not exactly a mechanic.
Well, it seems that you're stuck in the same boat as we are, then. I could show you the wreck, if you want to see it.
Is it that big one? In the desert?
Then that sounds like you've already seen it then.
Briefly, the outside. I was hoping that my ship's a lot smaller. It's only meant for 1-2 people, but I was just hoping of a way to maybe go home. This isn't my planet, much like you.
It's a bit of a grander scale for me, but I understand your meaning.
If you do come across a way or someone that can repair a ship, a smaller scale ship especially, I do a lot. I'm willing to do a lot to get out of here.
Shouldn't you know someone? With a ship that big, there must be someone that is quite knowledgeable on that stuff, correct?
I do. The issue is that we're all kind of stuck in the same boat and stranded here. And the ship wasn't exactly, it's weird to explain, because the ship was made by these people I know, but wasn't. Or more accurately, it's supposed to be made by these people I know.
That's confusing.
It's very confusing. I have a hard time wrapping my head around it myself. But to, I suppose, answer the question is if we're able to get... Is your interest in going back to your home, or just to get off this world?
Preferably to go home, but I don't even know if my planet exists anymore. I've been gone for a very, very long time.
I see. If it's of any consolation, then, because I know that the people I've been associated with in the past want to get to leave Etheria, I can put in a word with them. I'm certain they wouldn't say no to having a doctor come along.
I appreciate that. I'm willing to give any information that may help me get on their good side. But we need to leave.
Do you both come from the same place?
No.
Yeah. But we're more like a package deal.
When were you going to tell me of this, Lazar? Well,
Came out just now.
if they only have space for one more, though, take Lazar. I wouldn't mind. I'd rather get somewhere else than be stuck in this godforsaken body.
Oh, are you just wanting to get out of the body, or is this not your original body?
It is, but it isn't. It's a long story.
Are you from another multiverse? Or another universe?
I am, yes.
I think you mentioned that to me before, actually.
Yes. I think we've briefly met in... What was it again?
B201.
I think so. With the wall.
Yep, that's it.
You two know each other?
Wouldn't call it that.
More accurately, we've met them.
If I can ask, what is B201?
B201 is the universe I come from. It's number designation. What the world was actually called was Dividare. Way back when, there were two civilizations. One for the north, one for the south. And the two were at war. And it became so bad to a point where I'm not entirely certain how, but someone formed a giant impassable bedrock border between the two kingdoms, world spanning. And in that division, and in the, I can imagine probably centuries that followed, both kingdoms kind of met their end, and the remnants of what was left were on either side and had no idea of the other's existence. The wall was kind of just there for all of us. I always wondered what the purpose of it was when I was younger, but I certainly didn't dream that there was another land on the side of it.
What was your life like there?
I would like to have said quiet. Probably wouldn't have stayed that way forever, though. But one day I'm introduced to Luke and Devin, or Hats as we typically call them. Two people that came from another dimension. Unlike anything any of us had ever seen before. And when I say he leaves an impression on you, the man would literally crush up ender pearls and then snuff them like a drug. And what happened afterwards? Summoned lightning from the sky in a fit of... I don't even know what to call it. It was terrifying. Things got a lot less quiet after that.
So much for a peaceful life, huh?
Became anything but, I'll admit. I certainly didn't make a lot of right decisions in all that chaos.
Don't think anyone would.
Eventually, there did come a time where the two of them were ready to move on. They were trying to make their way home and kind of stopped at Dividare along the way. I elected to stay behind. My home was damaged and all that madness, the wall came tumbling down. So, a war kind of reignited, as it were. So,
People never learn.
Unfortunately. So I wanted to stay behind and pick up the pieces. Try to help whatever was left for people that stayed behind. The world was honestly a lot emptier after that.
How did you end up getting here?
It's complicated.
I like to hope you getting on the ship here wasn't a spur of the moment decision.
It wasn't. But I kind of...
Sorry, my hair. Were you there at the end?
Do you know what happened to it?
I just know I died. It was horrible. why I don't go too deep into caves anymore. But I don't remember everything. How did you survive? How are you standing here?
I'm guessing you two know what the skulk is? Corruption. And it began eating away at Everdark. I did what I could with who I had left. Called to as many people as possible to make their way to my home. We had only one way out, so... And we couldn't do anything to stop the corruption from taking over everything, so the only thing we could do was make an exodus. Got separated from all of them. Was able to make it through at the last moment, but I was lost. I was alone. Just on a mountain in a place I didn't recognize afterwards. Spent about a year like that before I realized it's where Luke and Devin went. Well, I say realized, but people found me. I didn't have anywhere else to go, so I went with them.
Which is here.
I didn't really want to stick around with the group, though, after what happened. Just wanted to be alone. So...
Was that when you found this place?
Someone showed me this place. The landlord. But, yeah. A lot of good trying to stay alone did in the end, based on everything.
So this is everything. Everything here is all you've got left. Would you ever leave?
Originally, no. But now after everything that's been going on, I'm not so certain. I don't think the people here would let me stay. Even
Do you
if...
think you'll join the crew that want to go?
I think it's another case of I don't have a choice.
You always have a choice.
Well, even if I end up clearing my name over this whole business with Regulus and the sky turning black, I'm still guilty of what happened with Vex.
Guilty of self-defense.
Part of me doesn't think that'll get passed off easily, judging from Jaeger's demeanor.
People are like to see things in a bit of black and white, and they don't like all the shades of gray that fit in between us.
If they don't like you, then we need to be convicted just as equally.
Exactly.
Especially you then. That's not a story for today. You should. Try and get on the ship. You've already got a lot of expertise I'm sure they'll find useful.
A historian that studied a world that doesn't exist anymore. Certainly.
I'm talking about everything else here. The things you've made here. Your historic abilities may not have much use on a planet that's gone, but you've learned from mistakes that have killed others. That's not something many get to say they've lived through and learned from.
Exactly. And you'd be surprised how many people make the same mistakes over and over and over again.
Well, that's the thing of it. People make these mistakes and I keep getting dragged into it.
Yeah, that is a bit annoying.
Yep. So, about the ship. The issue is that when Luke and Devin came across it, it came with a sort of message to it. As if traveling through dimensions wasn't confusing enough, it seems that time is getting thrown into the mix as well. Because it was left by them from the future. As was the ship, apparently.
So its use is not really something we can expect to have
Especially not at this moment, considering the wreck it's in. But the matter of it is that they're supposed to be returning it to what was them. On another note, we did discover we weren't the only ones that came here via ship, but it's wrecked too. The Lemons, as people were calling them. I was doing some investigations into them recently, and it seems they had some kind of mission here, but what it was, I've got no clue about. And everything in their ship was fried, and its power source was pretty much broken as well. The main part of the ship that was found, I think pretty much everyone has taken a look at this point. But I don't think that's the only part of it. Its generator was listed as a backup. That implies there may have been a main one somewhere.
A generator.
And there wasn't any living quarters or anything inside of that part of the ship. The only thing that was there was the weapon that was used to shoot the distance ship down, which was the one I came here on.
We just need a generator. We have a ship. Even if it's in slight disrepair.
If we can find the generator, we can figure the rest out and get off the planet.
My ship's not big by any means. It's a medic ship. But it can fit a few people in it. I can fix the outside with some luck, but I can. I just need a generator. Mine's gone. It's been corrupted, we'll say.
The issue of it is that the reason I was looking for a power source was for something to help Luke and Devin get out of here as well. So I suppose a way we could look at this in a way that could be mutually beneficial, I could use the power source temporarily to try and power what I'm working on, and then when I'm finished with it, I can ensure it's in decent repair and give it to you so you can use it for your ship.
I'd give anything for that.
If not that, then we can work together to try and find something that'll work suitably as well.
That works too. If anyone is looking for any means of off the planet just by itself, a mutual beneficial thing could be I could take people to another planet. I'm a pilot after all.
A pilot and a doctor.
I'm a bit of a jack of all trades when it came to it. You can thank my training.
What was your world like, if you don't mind my asking?
It's complicated. I just know I was in the army before I died. I was a medic that went to other planets. We beat the space race and all of that jazz. If it's still there, and if people are desperate enough to get off of this planet for another one, it can be of help.
Sounds like we have an accord then.
I don't know what... My ship's been messed with. It has the ability to fly. I know it still does, but I don't know how well that would be after it went into a certain black hole.
Void.
Yes.
Were you in there with Lazar?
Into the black hole? No.
In the void?
Ship? No. Well, not with Lazar.
I feel like we're going to have to come clean one way or another at this point.
I mean, kind of explains when you said you've lived lifetimes. Void exposure, being locked in it, is I've not figured out the science behind it, but you wouldn't be the first one to have said they've spent a unreasonable amount of time within the void. God, it still vexes me as to how Genesis remained in there for ages and still was a jackass.
Do you want to explain what's going on, or do you want me to?
Which part? My life or your life?
I guess both are pretty interesting, if you're willing to keep us for a little longer.
I'm not opposed to having guests still, so. And you two are decent company.
That's a compliment I'll take.
Which part would you like to hear first? And you should probably sit down for either one.
You're gonna be here for a long time. I guess you should start it. You're the one that remembers the first one. Not me.
Well, as you know, my name is Vexranatas. I was born an odd... Gosh, how many years ago was it now? Years ago that I was born for the very first time. I was born a human and through my own stupidity ended up not being a human any longer. In my non-human time, I met Void. An entity. A god? I don't exactly know, but we ended up becoming friends. We were friends for a very long time. And due to another bit of a curse I've managed to stumble myself into, when I died and woke back up, Void was still there. And then again, and again, and again. But it wasn't always void. Sometimes it was kismet. Sometimes it was a puppet. Sometimes it was someone else, often someone else. And in this one, it was recently Lazar.
It made you a proxy for it.
For what I've gathered, yes. For what I know, it normally makes its own proxies. But in this world, it was more convenient to change someone into a proxy.
Which, quite the choice it made. Lazar is dead because I killed him.
And Vex is dead because I killed them.
I've heard of odd arrangements in friendships before.
Trust me,
This
it's not one we knew would happen.
this is up there.
Trust me, I wouldn't have killed it if I'd known that I'd spend the rest of this afterlife with it.
I would have to kill you if you didn't try and take my ship.
I'm the reason it ended up in the black hole.
And now you two are stuck together.
I'm bound to. I have no choice. I have to.
It's been this way for many lives. And what are you going to tell God? No? Like it'll listen. Void is a lovely friend to have. Just one that acts on mostly its own childish whims.
Certainly you've got to have in the constant back of your mind. I'm not a part of this rebirthing, I'll call it. I've just been thrusted into a line of lives aren't my own. I just kinda wanna go home now.
Can't say I blame you for that.
What about you, though? I felt it.
It isn't something I'm trying to talk about openly, but you two told me your dirty secret. It wouldn't be fair of me not to share mine, though I admit I wouldn't have if you hadn't brought it up. I don't know when. Maybe it was when my world was crumbling around me. Maybe it was when I split corruption off of an individual. The entity behind it has locked itself onto me in an odd way. I am not corrupted myself, but it is trying to make that happen. My physiology is fighting it off like a disease as it tries to overtake from the metaphysical to the physical. But I'm holding myself together for the moment.
For the moment.
At the moment, I'm trying not to let anything of the sort out or be around anything of it. I can say And I can say for a fact that I know that it's a bad decision for Port Spiral to be keeping whatever those hounds are in its basement.
Well, there's not really much I can say about it. They aren't very happy to listen to me ever since they found out about what I did to Lazar.
Let's go down the list of what they do. They keep a front door for corruption to come for their city first if it ever reaches this world. They ostracized, imprisoned, and banished a 18-year-old bird for the fact that she was involved and was forced to make a decision when her brother went behind her back to come after me. And, well, despite the fact that they have the shining example of creating something that's able to purge skull corruption with, unfortunately, no result on me, I don't rate their judgment that high. I'll keep that brief.
Yeah. They... what's it called? They lead with their heart instead of their head. They lead with emotion. I've noticed. They don't really want to listen to reason that well.
Well, they're 1 for 3 on positive developments, from what I've seen, so...
Lead with emotion, yet the only emotion they've been causing people is hurt.
I would say I don't know to the exact extent of anything with Port Spiral. Before this whole fiasco occurred, I only went out there to get groceries. In my case, it's been annoyance.
In my time traveling across planets, I'd say this is probably one of the more poorly run areas I've seen. I've been on war-torn planets.
It's a mixed bag for me.
It's not the worst I've seen, but there's definitely been better.
Incompetent is definitely a word I'd use.
I would agree, though I'm also a council member, so I'm a bit biased, but because of what's been happening lately, I've also been spending my time elsewhere. Crimson Isles. In fact, the leader has also left plenty of lies.
Well,
Maybe you should see if you can get your groceries from there.
I usually go to Sanctum.
Do they welcome you in Sanctum?
I've done nothing to offend Sanctum, and I don't believe I've ever had the courtesy of being able to meet their mayor. Scampy is also polite to pretty much everyone.
Should be careful. Sanctum and Port Spiral,
Right next to each other.
yes. And I've been communicating a bit more and more, especially with the recent winter.
I'll be sure to be more careful then. Thank you.
I do have a question regarding the corruption you face.
I'm listening.
You say you can face it off now, but do you have a long-term solution?
I don't know. I tried Port Spiral's flasks of purification. It didn't work. It reacted violently with me. So, to kind of explain what I mean by my physiology is staving it off. What I am. A hollow. My species has this trait. We could have been considered limited shapeshifters. We were able to passively adapt to locations we were in, to evolve, to survive. Issue of it comes to, however, that I couldn't do anything drastic. I couldn't change my appearance to look like someone else. I couldn't grow extra limbs. Yet, after this occurred, this began happening.
You're fucking fish now.
Ah! Lo and behold. I am a fish.
You're in the table.
The fish
You
that
are
is
a
in
fish.
the fish that is in the table, yes.
I don't want to be human. Go back to fish. Really said fuck evolution.
Yeah, but I wasn't able to do this before that started happening. So, from what 90s and I were able to tell, my body changed more drastically so that it could stave off the physical effects of the corruption. I know it's hard to take me seriously, I apologize.
It is very hard.
Just a little.
This is what military training has prepared me for.
I would be concerned by what military training would prepare you for anything like this.
Keeping a straight face. This is
Strange?
what. That's one way to put it, yeah.
Yeah. I don't really like these things either.
I
Guardians.
don't like that it's gyrating.
Yeah, the spikes kind of do their thing. I don't really know what to tell you on that.
It made me very uncomfortable.
I apologize.
You don't know how long this is going to ease or prevent the corruption you face.
I wish I knew I wish I knew a more definitive answer, but at the moment, this is all I pretty much have. Just keeping it in.
What do you think's going to happen if it does take over?
I don't know. My worry is that what's not going on physically with it. Part of me worries that this happened before I got here, and well, sad truth of it is that whatever it is, I think it might see me, I guess.
It knows you are here, what you're doing.
I don't know if it knows what I'm doing, but it knows I'm here, and it sent someone it took here.
So taking you off the planet could either be a big help or a risk.
I don't know.
You've got a lot of testing to do then. Let's hope maybe another planet or dimension is more versed in this stuff.
I hope so. Because the only alternative at the moment is killing me. And I really do not want to die. Oh, there I go. There I am.
A more serious form to look at.
A less confusing one.
A less gyrating one.
It always leaves a very weird aftertaste in my mouth when I do that.
Taste the fish.
Taste of fish, I've turned into cows, axolotls, squids.
Maybe you turn like a dragon or something cool.
I have no idea how to do any of that yet fully. I don't even know if it's possible for me to.
Fingers crossed. I can theories mainly here on my end, but if I can myself what position I'm in, at least have some kind of sense something is going on. I do wonder if the being that's trapped me here might have a clue too.
That's a great question.
It could help, if anything. I've had talks with it before. I doubt it might. My being's prime focus is on this one right here.
I'll keep that in mind.
I think that's all I have to ask anymore. Vex?
I also don't have further questions. At least none to ask right now.
Can agree with that. I guess we'll make our way home soon then.
Yes. Shall I walk you two out then?
Why not?